Hi. Last time I was showing to you the Lazarus environment ID and also some basic features of the ID and how you can create your applications, how you can set up a main menu and so on, and open up additional forms. But let's go a little bit deeper into the form creation and design time possibilities with the form. Let's add the button to the form and place it somewhere at the bottom. What is important to mention here is that when you design the form, you can set the elements to a position which will be used in the application when you are running it. So once you are designing something here on the screen, Uh, if you are not setting any additional properties for the form or for the objects on the form, then these will stay on the form as they design. So if I'm running now this form, then you can see that the form itself is appearing at the same size as it was designed, and the button is also where it was placed. So how you can change these behaviors? So for example, the basic thing when you are creating a form, and you might create a dialog because you can define different forms that at first is so what you can do with the forms. Of course, when you are designing the form, you should decide what this form will be used for and how this should behave in the application. So let's talk about the form setting, the basic form setting itself um, at the beginning. So you can have different forms, of course. You can have a dialog form, you can have a simple single border form, which is not resizable, but it's not modal. Then you can have also a sizable form style. So currently, uh, when you are creating a form from the beginning, the typical or the default type is a sizable border style, and this border style is defining the basic definition of the form. So if you are having a sizable form, then also you have buttons on the form, which is um, either you can minimize the form with it, you can maximize the form with it, or you can close the form with it. So this is the sizable form style. If you change it to single form style, then when you are running it, the form will appear on the same way. At least in Mac OS, you will not see any difference in the form. The only difference what you will see is that you don't have the maximize button. The reason of this because the single border form style is a non-resizable form style. So the form will always remain the same size, or it can be minimized like this. And you can restore it, of course. And then you can close it. So this feature is of course here. Uh, okay, so you can also set the form to the dialog type. This will not have any effect actually on the main form, but if you are opening an additional form, you can and you set it to dialog, the dialog form will be also a non-resizable type of form. But if you define it like this as a dialog, you will not have even the minimize button. You can close the dialog, or you can close it with a button function, but you cannot minimize it, you cannot maximize it. This is basically a model dialog form, and within the application you can't go to another you're not to another form. Okay, let's set it back to resizable, and let's go with the next point here. So we place this button, and when we are having a resizable form, you can recognize that with this basic or default settings, the button will appear at the position, and when I'm resizing the form, the button is still uh, placed at the same position, and it will not move together with the resize of the form. But to see again the button, you need to size it back to a size where the button become visible. So here we should mention one property here from the front, which is the auto scroll um, property, which is set to false at the beginning. But if you set it to true, then the application will automatically create buttons or scroll elements on the screen whenever the screen is sized to a size where not all the elements are visible on the form. And then, as you can see, now the button is disappeared, but together with this movement, let's say the scroll element, at first the vertical element appeared because we just sized the form on the size that the button itself is not visible vertically. If I'm sizing it towards to the left, and the button is going out from the screen, actually just a little portion went out, but if I'm scrolling it to the horizontal way, then I can scroll until the left and then bottom side of the button is visible completely on the form. If I'm sizing it back again, then of course the scroll bars are disappearing. Okay, so the next thing what we should mention here is that when you design the form, you have different elements here which are controlling the position of the form. So typically, when you create the form, it's already, let's say, changed when I was testing the application. So in at the beginning, the default setting for this position properties is the designed, uh, let's say, position. So when you design the form and you place it on a screen somewhere, like here, and you run it, then the position of the window will be like when it was designed. The the interesting behavior here is that, of course, the design at the design time you might place it to a position, but if you design it maybe on a bigger screen than the user will use, then the form itself will appear on the position where the form is completely visible. So if I'm moving it out here, which is, as you can see, that the left is at 1354. If your screen is actually smaller than this 1354 plus the width here, then the form will jump in to be visible completely. So when I'm running the application, as you could see before, the form was outside of the screen. You see it's moving in to let the complete form visible for the user. And this should happen, of course, if you move it downwards as well. But if you define it differently, like for example, desktop center and you run it again, then wherever the design was placed, the window doesn't matter. It will calculate the actual size of or check the actual size of the screen, and it will move it into the center of the screen. It's typically can be used if you might have a splash screen when you are loading the application. Then this splash screen should always appear in the center. This is how it should look like, and then you can use this property for the form. If you change the property to default, then by default the the operating system will define the size of the form or the position of the form, and as this is the first form I'm opening, it will place it to the top left side of the front. If I would open it again, not sure if I can. No, I can't do it here again. But if I could have the application open 2 or 3 times, then it would the operating system would open it on a way that it would not cover each other completely. You have other options here, but you can put it to the screen center. And again, it's appearing pretty much the same way as it was in the desktop center. Yeah, I don't know why these two properties are created like this, but let's say that's it. Okay, so let's see what we can do with the button itself. So as you have seen, I've placed the button here at the bottom of the screen, and it was always staying at the same place. And why it is happening like this? Because when you create your button, this top and left anchoring is enabled by default, and this will set the anchor to the left and the right side of the form. And when the form is moved or resized, then the the button will basically follow the position of this setting. So if I'm uh, trying to move it here, I can simulate already this anchor behavior here. It is always like this. If I would set the right and bottom anchor as well, then this would make the size of the button changing as well. So let's click it out again. Move the button up a little bit, resize it again, and now it's not moving. But when I'm adding again, ah, switch to the form. So switch back again to the button, and now when I'm resizing it, you can see that also the size of the button is changing, which is not the right behavior, of course. But what you can also do here with all the elements what you are defining, that you can define a minimum size of it. So if I'm saying that the minimum size by height is let's say 32, and the minimum width is maybe 80, and then I'm going back to the form and start to resize, this will not allow the resize below that size. So you can basically create a button on a way that if you set back these values and you size the button to its default size, let's say okay, like this, 24. And I'm saying that the minimum height is 24, and let's say the maximum height is also 24. Then when I'm resizing the form, then the width will change, but the height will not change. You can see that it's always staying 24. Of course, you can define the button like this, that you stick to this size constraint to a certain dimension, and then it will not move, but or not change the size of the button itself. But this is typically not something what you are using. So either you are linking the button to the bottom of the screen, like this one, and then you can make sure that, let's resize it again to the same size, and let's move it to the bottom right corner, like it's typically set for some dialogues. And if you move it, you see that it's moving together with the bottom right corner of the form. So with this, of course, you can make sure that the button or any element of the screen is moving together. Um, but you need to make sure that you are using these controls on the right way. Okay, what else we can talk about here is you can link also this kind of things to together on the screen. So if you have, for example, a label, and you say that this label should be also moved together with the button, then you can do it on a way that you are not linking it to the form itself, but you are linking it to the bottom. And now you can set that I'm linking it to the bottom, and also the left side link to the bottom. And then uh, to make sure that this one, actually I should not link it like this. I should link it to the bottom of the, or the bottom anchor of the label should be linked to the bottom, because we want to have it always above the button. So if I'm now checking this, you see that it's linked to the bottom, but there is no distance at all. So what we can do is that here we are setting a little bit distance between the button and the label itself. So as you can see that the label is already moved up a little bit. And whenever I'm changing the front, the label of course is moving together. So it's already, let's say, following the button itself. One more thing what we should mention regarding the front settings is that you can also set which element is the first element which should be used. Let's put here an edit control, and let's see how we can set the edit control default control. So here you have a property active control, and if you set this active control to the element, then that element will be getting the focus when the form is opened. Of course, you can basically change this behavior if you want programmatically, but this requires a little bit a different approach, because you can't use the active control element of the front form, but you should use the focus function. So if I'm coming here and using the button one, or I want to set the button one focused, then I can do it with the set focus function. So I linked it now to a menu element just to show that how you can do that. And when you run you run the application, um, you will see that the focus is on the edit element. And if I'm going to the oops, if I'm going to the file menu and open, then the focus goes to the button which I was defining. If I would set the focus on the button itself, then of course this could achieve the same behavior, that it goes to the set function. But what is also interesting, you can have basically uh, two options here, because the buttons, for example, have a special option, of course, because buttons are a little bit, elements which can have a kind of standard behavior. For example, if you are setting a form, and you want to have the default button set, and when you for example press and enter, then this enter might immediately trigger the default button function. So let's see how this could work. So if you have this button, and you go to the default property, and you set it to true, then this will be the default button. Of course, this is also interesting if you have more buttons on the screen, because then you can define which button is the default button. And as you can see, now it seems like the button itself is the is having a focus, but actually the focus is on the edit function. So if I'm starting to type, then I can type immediately into the edit button. But when I'm pressing the enter, it should call the button function as a default button function. As we don't have actually the an event defined for the button, then this will not work, of course, but or doesn't show anything. But if we define an action to the button, and now we jump to another thing in the design. So what you can do is that you can define, of course, different events to each elements. You can define them for the front, or you can define for buttons, for edit items, or whatever. So let's go to the bottom back, and how you can change the events, or how you can create an event is very simple. You come to the event, and you can press this little three dot button here, and then it will create immediately a standard function. And then of course you can change this function name if you want. Typically you should change it here at the interface section, and then of course you should change it for the implementation section. So if you want, or you can do it easily by changing the property name property of the object itself. So you can see here that you have a button one name on the object. So if I'm changing the name, let's say default button, then this will change also the name in the interface and also in the implementation section. So this is the best way to change the name of an object, because then this will have the effect on the program code as well, not just here in the properties window, but it will let's say refactor the elements here inside the interface, and also the implementation. So you can see that it's already changed, and also it's changing if you already set somewhere a function, or you use the function or a property, it will change also the name of the element, or in all the occasions. So it's not just one side. If you might change it here in the interface section, like button one, this will not change automatically. So basically, this will then run into a problem that that you need to change manually everywhere. So here and here as well. And also you need to make sure that the name of the button is changed here, because otherwise the application will make a problem for you. Okay, so now we changed all the names here, and you also need to check here the function, because now the event function is again changed to a wrong one, so you need to change it here. But if you change the name here, let's change it back to default button, then of course you can see that it is automatically changed here as well. So then you don't need to take care about the elements inside and the interface and the implementation part of the code. So make sure that you are not changing anything manually here in the implementation and interface. Only, of course, you can change variables. So if you define your own variables for the application, then those you need to manually change here, or you need to use the refactor functions to change completely in the code. So to check the default button function, pressing the enter button, let's put here something that we want to do the, or want to write something into the text field of the edit object. And let's say that default button enter pressed. Let's run the application. Type something into the edit field and press an enter. And you see that when I'm pressing the enter, the default button is used. So basically you have here, we can say, two focused items. One is the edit object itself on the form, and the second one is the default button. So that's it. This is what I wanted to explain to you about how you can design a form, how you can link the different anchors to these elements, how we can, or how you can define the form type itself, and let's leave something for the next tutorials as well. So if you like that tutorial, please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time with more content.